The story begins with a boy named Henry. Today marks the start of his Christmas break from school, but Henry doesn't feel much excitement about celebrating with his large family. As soon as he leaves school, his eyes fall upon a strikingly beautiful girl wearing a red scarf. In that very instant, Henry feels the spark of love at first sight. Somehow, he rushes to catch the bus, and, shortly after, the same girl boards it as well. On the bus, Henry's brothers tease him for being shy and reserved, as he is usually a loner and has no friends. His younger sister Gwen encourages him to get off before the girl and try to talk to her. Unfortunately, the young woman gets off at the next stop, forgetting her scarf on the bus. Henry picks it up, but before he can return it, the bus drives away. Later, while Henry and his brothers are heading home, a man named Leon suddenly stops his car in front of them. Leon works for Miss Graythorne, the owner of the town's royal estate, and invites Henry and his family to attend the Christmas party at the great mansion. When Henry finally arrives home, he discovers that his older brother, Max, has also returned for the holidays. Max takes over Henry's room, forcing him to sleep in the storage area. In total, Henry has 5 older brothers and 1 younger sister. His father, John, seems to have a lively personality and recently took a job as a teacher in this town, which is why the family lives there now. Henry's mother is a dedicated housewife who deeply loves her large family. That night during dinner, John asks Max about his graduation plans, but Max admits he hasn't decided yet. Soon the brothers begin teasing Henry again for not talking to the girl on the bus. The next day, 2 farmers named Dawson and George arrive with a Christmas tree for the family. They greet Henry warmly, wish him a happy birthday, and warn him that a storm is coming even though the sky looks perfectly clear. Later, Henry's family showers him with gifts. Most seem ordinary, but Gwen's gift is the one that excites him the most because she always chooses something meaningful. Upon opening the box, Henry finds a beautiful wristwatch. Gwen places it on his wrist and asks him to make a wish. Henry wishes for snow to fall in the town. That night, upon waking up, he is filled with joy to see snow covering the ground. But as the cold intensifies, he tries to close the windows and realizes that his hands suddenly possess extraordinary strength, so much so that even a gentle touch almost breaks the glass. The following day, while waiting at the bus stop, Henry notices a large number of crows gathering in a nearby tree. The bus soon arrives and heads to the mall to buy a Christmas gift for Gwen. He finds a beautiful pendant and buys it, but just as he is about to leave, 2 police officers stop him, accusing him of stealing it. They take him to an interrogation room, where Henry senses something strange is happening. The lights flicker repeatedly, and the appearance of the police officers constantly shifts. They demand that he reveal information about a mysterious sign, but Henry has no idea what they are referring to. Suddenly, their true forms are revealed, and they try to attack him. To his own surprise, Henry pushes them away effortlessly and escapes. For the first time, he realizes he possesses unusual powers. The officers pursue him relentlessly, but he manages to slip away. Still confused, Henry does not understand why these people are chasing him or what is happening around him. When he tries to explain the strange events to his father and the rest of the family, no one takes him seriously. That night, Henry and his family attend the Christmas party at the royal mansion. There, Dawson and George approach him again to ask if he is having fun. Suddenly, Henry sees the same girl from the bus. Just as he hopes to approach her, James intervenes and begins talking to her. Seeing this, Henry feels a surge of anger and storms out, grabbing his coat as he leaves. Meanwhile, Leon and Miss Graythorne debate whether they should reveal his destiny to him. At the same time, Henry is walking alone through the forest when, suddenly a rider on horseback, accompanied by ferocious dogs, begins to chase him. Henry runs desperately for his life, but the horse is too fast and soon blocks his path. The rider demands information about the mysterious signs, but Henry still understands nothing. At that moment, Leon and Miss Graythorne arrive and order the rider to leave Henry alone. Upon leaving, the rider warns that in a few days his powers will return, and that, when he comes back, no one will survive. Leon and his companions notice that Henry is in a state of shock, so they use magic to transport him back in time to an ancient world. There they explain that Henry is destined to be a warrior of light, chosen to protect the world. They tell him that centuries ago, in a place called the Great Hall, a battle was fought between light and darkness. The light won, but the darkness was never completely destroyed. To defeat it forever, Henry must collect 6 magic signs. They reveal that on his birthday his powers awakened and that from then on he should have started seeing the signs. But the rider has also begun to regain his strength, and others can feel his growing power. Henry still struggles to understand why he has been given these abilities. Leon explains that, according to an ancient legend, Henry is a seeker, the seventh son of a seventh son. They show him the Book of Gramarye, an ancient text that describes how to recognize the signs and that only Henry can read. Henry laughs, saying they must be wrong because he only has 5 brothers and is the 6th son, not the 7th. He insists they have chosen the wrong person and tries to leave, but Leon and the others warn him that he cannot run from his destiny. At that moment, Henry is shown a terrifying vision of the future where darkness has conquered the entire world. Horrified, he suddenly finds himself back on the road, nearly being hit by a car, but manages to get home safely. At home, Henry begins to investigate further and asks his father John, who is a physics professor, if light can truly defeat darkness. John dismisses his questions, telling him not to worry about such deep matters and to enjoy life at his age. Later, while in the storage room, Henry opens a drawer, slips, and hurts his leg. His mother, Mary, calls a doctor to treat him. When Henry is about to drink something, he hears the doctor's voice and realizes he is no ordinary doctor. He is the rider who is chasing him. The rider sends Mary to another room to fetch supplies so he can be alone with Henry. He touches Henry's leg, healing it instantly, and promises that if he gives him information about the signs, he can ask for anything in return. Then, using dark magic, the rider inflicts terrible pain on Henry's leg and threatens to kill his family if he joins the ancient warriors. When Mary returns, the rider pretends nothing is wrong, says Henry will need a few days to recover, and leaves. Later, Henry returns to the storage room and discovers a photograph of twin babies. Curious, he shows it to his mother, who reveals that Henry once had a twin brother named Tom. When Henry and Tom were only 2 weeks old, a violent storm broke out, causing both babies to cry. Mary took Henry downstairs and asked John to bring Tom, but John, busy with his thesis, was delayed by a minute and, when he finally went to the room, the baby had disappeared. Despite searching everywhere, he was never found. Upon hearing this, Henry understands the immense danger threatening the world and decides to join forces with the warriors. By studying the ancient book, Henry discovers the full extent of his powers. He can recognize signs of light, move objects with his mind, travel through time, summon immense physical strength, and even throw fire from his hands. The only ability he lacks is the power of flight, which leaves him a bit disappointed. Leon begins to train him to use his abilities. During training, Henry realizes that the first sign is hidden inside the pendant he gave to Gwen. Soon he also sees the second sign, but to obtain it, he must travel back in time with the other warriors. In that strange world, an old woman suddenly attacks them with venomous snakes that bind them tightly. Henry uses his strength to free himself, secures the second sign, and returns with his team to the church. There, Leon explains that one of Henry's ancestors, Thomas, was the creator of these magic signs. He reveals that the sixth sign has never been found, not because it was hidden, but because it was never concealed. Leon assures Henry that, being of Thomas's lineage, he is the one destined to discover it. That night, the rider meets with a mysterious man who tells him that his dark powers grow every day. The rider orders the man to bring him all the signs, promising a reward. Meanwhile, Henry sits down to dinner with his family when James arrives bringing Maggie, the girl Henry has admired from the start. Realizing that Maggie and James are together, Henry feels deeply hurt. Shortly after, Maggie approaches Henry and reveals that she also possesses extraordinary powers, demonstrating it by forming a sign with grains of salt. After dinner, Henry shows Maggie a glimpse of his own abilities. Curious, he asks why she is with James and if she is part of the Ancient Warriors team. Maggie explains that Henry must not waste energy on small distractions, but rather prepare for his mission. She clarifies that she is not a warrior, but is there only to protect him. Gathering courage, Henry confesses that from the first moment he felt a strong attraction to her, and finally admits his feelings of love. But at that moment, James interrupts, asking what they are doing. Maggie quickly responds that she was only talking to Henry while waiting for him. After Maggie's departure, Henry becomes enraged and runs to Leon, declaring that he doesn't think he can save the world if he can't even talk properly to a girl. Leon reassures him, saying that, as the Seeker, he can achieve anything. he advises him to focus on his mission first, reminding him that there will be time for romance. For if he fails now, there will be no world left to save. Frustrated, Henry leaves the mansion and, in his anger, flames erupt from nearby trees. Miss Graythorne witnesses this and scolds Leon for not listening to Henry's feelings, reminding him that he is still just a child. Shortly after, Gwen follows Henry to the royal mansion and asks if he is okay. Henry assures her that everything is fine, but then his eyes catch the clouds gathering in the sky, and he realizes that the third sign is about to appear. Taking Gwen's hand, he travels through time to a village where soldiers are fighting. Together, they dodge the chaos until Henry sees a shield bearing the hidden sign. He and Gwen pursue the soldier with the shield to a boat. When Henry lifts the shield, a huge man grabs him, throwing him into the water and preparing to attack. But the man notices Henry's watch and agrees to trade the shield for it. With this exchange, Henry secures the third sign. Finally, Henry and Gwen return home through time. Henry warns Gwen not to tell anyone what happened. At that moment, Leon scolds him for using his powers, insisting he must save his strength for the coming battle, though shortly after he apologizes for his harshness and promises to be his protector. When Henry returns home, he finds Max waiting for him. Max says he plans to stay for a few more weeks, but Henry pays him little attention. Suddenly, Max grabs Henry by the neck and begins to speak with a strange and unnatural voice, as he is currently possessed by the rider. At the same time, Henry feels the presence of the fourth sign. This time, he and Max are pulled into a journey through time. There, Max attacks Henry, threatening to kill him unless he reveals everything about the signs. Henry calmly tells Max that he knows he left college after failing his exams, but assures him that his family will never judge him for it. Henry encourages Max to free himself from fear so that the rider cannot control him. Failing this, Henry knocks Max unconscious and secures the fourth sign before returning to their world. Later, when Max wakes up, Henry tells him he simply fainted after a fall. The next morning, a massive snowstorm covers the entire city, disrupting traffic and services. To protect them, Miss Graythorne invites John's family to stay at the royal mansion. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Maggie has been secretly working with the rider. She is a witch who helps him in exchange for the promise of eternal youth. The rider orders her to steal the signs from Henry, as he possesses 4. On the other hand, Leon instructs Henry to meet him in the Great Hall once he obtains the 5th sign. Henry shows little interest as he still doesn't know what the 6th sign is, but Leon trusts that Henry is the one destined to defeat the rider. Soon, Maggie meets Henry at the mansion and demands the signs. Just as Henry is about to hand them over, he sees the 5th sign and risks his life to claim it, refusing to give Maggie anything afterward. Furious, the rider breaks his promise and takes away Maggie's youth. She instantly transforms into an old woman, falls into the river, and dies. Meanwhile, the rider's powers grow, and he begins to sow chaos in the city. Elsewhere, Henry and the warriors meet in the Great Hall, where the law forbids the rider from entering unless invited. Suddenly, they hear the voice of Henry's father outside, begging them to open the door. The warriors stop him, but then Gwen's voice calls out saying one of their brothers is gravely injured. Soon Mary's cries for help resonate in the hall. Overcome by emotion, Henry opens the door, only to realize too late that the rider has deceived him by imitating his family's voices. As the rider enters, his dark energy smothers all light. The warriors try to fight, but he is too powerful, defeating them all and plunging the hall into darkness. Now, the rider faces Henry, mocking him and asking where his family and friends are, telling him he is just a child and should not think of saving the world. Then, the rider reveals a magic orb containing Tom, Henry's twin brother, revealing that he kidnapped him 14 years ago, believing he was the true seeker. The rider throws the orb into the waters of the Great Hall. Henry searches desperately for his brother, but the darkness is overwhelming. Finally, the rider throws Henry toward the black clouds and leaves, determined to spread darkness throughout the world. Inside the storm, Henry suddenly remembers the truth about the 6th sign. It cannot be hidden from him, because he himself is the final sign. With this realization, all his powers awaken at once, and the rider's darkness can no longer hold him. Emerging from the hall with the magic orb in his hands, Henry channels his strength to trap the rider and his darkness inside the orb, and then throws it into the river. Instantly, light floods the city, and Tom is finally freed. After so many years apart, the two brothers reunite with joy. Henry tells the warriors that he wishes to go home, and they allow him to, as his mission is over. In the end, Henry and Tom arrive at their house, where the whole family celebrates Tom's return with immense joy. And that is the end of the story today.